Ladies and gentlemen, welcome wrestling fans worldwide to Knoxville and the Great Smoky Mountains for the Ron Fuller, Tennessee Studcast.
6 feet 9 inches tall, 265 pounds.
This historic podcast from one of the most respected and successful wrestlers and promoters will follow the footsteps of the largest and oldest wrestling family on the planet.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's right. Bring that camera in here a little bit closer.
Through 93 years and 4 generations.
The stud has arrived.
Old school or new fan, this unique broadcast will educate and captivate as Ron details decades of professional wrestling's growth with truly unforgettable stories.
I want those people out there at home to hear the stud.
Sit back and enjoy the ride with the Tennessee Stud.
The Tennessee Stud. You will learn that name. You will remember it.
And now,
the stud is here.
Hey everybody, welcome in. It's David Summers, and this is another Studcast with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Here comes the story of wrestling in America as told by the stud, whose family started the profession 100 years ago. So now, let's step back into the ring and back into time. Let's get wall-to-wall, treetop tall with the Tennessee Stud, 'cause there ain't no hoss like the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. All right, Ron, listen, I got to tell you, you've been on fire with the last couple of Studcasts and those historic stories that you've been telling about the 2 matches between your father, Buddy Fuller, and Mario Galento. And you've backed those stories up on social media and in the Studcast themselves with some of the most horrific wrestling photos I, for one, have ever seen.
I've been getting quite a bit of that, actually, So from what I've heard from others, man, over the years, because I was only 10 years old when this first match went down, and I wasn't allowed to go that night at 10 years old to see this match, and I guess that's a good thing. The first match between the two of them. I don't believe that first match in Mobile in 1958 actually had anything to do with wrestling. There was no wrestling in it, I don't believe. And from what I've heard, I don't think there was a single wrestling move in the entire match.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it was just a couple of wrestlers trying with their fists only to beat their opponents senseless.
Yep. Yeah.
So 7 years later, in the second match between them and Atlanta, at least they decided to cover their fists with boxing gloves and make it a boxing match or something similar to it. So these 2 total shoot matches are the only ones that I have ever heard of in my wrestling career that were like this. There's been nothing like this that I've ever been able to hear or anybody talk about or see, for darn sure. And I'm sure there have been some matches between the wrestlers, obviously, that didn't like each other, that probably unintentionally turned into something violent in the ring. But to my knowledge, there was never one in which 2 men went into the ring to intentionally hurt the other one. So wait, I think I got to back that up for just a second, Dave. I had to take that back. My grandfather, Roy, told me about one of those matches, and he was kind of involved in Houston, Texas, and it was back in the early 1920s. There were 2 promoters. They were in a wrestling war, and they were competing against each other and running matches weekly. So they agreed to end the war for Houston by promoting a card together and splitting the money. And then they further agreed, this thing just gets more complicated here. They further agreed then that they could each go out and hire themselves a booker, a shooter.
Right.
And then on that card that they're going to promote together, that was going to be the main event. And one guy have his shooter against the other guy's shooter. And whoever won that match, that would be the guy that was going to win Houston. He's going to be the promoter for Houston, Texas from then on. And the losing promoter agreed that he would never run a match in Houston again.
All right, listen, first of all, you're talking about early 1920s and your grandfather, Roy. So at the beginning of the show, when we say over 100 years ago, This is exactly what we're talking about. If this was happening in the early 1920s, Ron, that's amazing.
Yep, that's the case, man. We're talking about that time frame for sure.
All right, and listen, I think I do remember a little something about this story that I've heard you tell over time. I think you told it years ago, maybe in an early Studcast before I became your co-host. I absolutely loved it. So if I'm correct, is it on your tnstud.com website under Studcast?
Yes, it is.
All right,
yes.
And I think the story is in the first 5 Studcasts that you ever did. So I know those 5 were introducing your grandfather, Roy Welch.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
And I certainly didn't plan on telling that story today, but what happened in it does have a little connection with those 2 matches of my father and Mario Galentos. And all 3 of them obviously were shoots, and all 3 of them were very violent. And I think what I'm going to do is to start this one, Dave, since this subject has come up. I think I'm going to tell a little shorter version of it than I did in that Studcast, that original Studcast. Mm-hmm. And for people that wanted to listen to that at some time or one time or another, if they haven't heard it, it's on tnstud.com on that website.
Right. Okay.
So let's just jump into this. The original Dutch Mantel, that's the wrestler that trained my grandfather Roy to shoot. Was hired by one of those Houston promoters. And I need to clear up one thing right away here, man, right off the bat. If I'm going to tell this story, I call him the original Dutch Mantel because that's what he was. Because, I know most fans out there, when they hear me mention Dutch Mantel, they're going to think automatically of today's Dutch Mantel.
Right.
And we're talking about a totally different character for sure. The original Dutch Mantel was actually a real Dutchman. He came to America from the Netherlands. He arrived in America in 1900. And when he arrived, he was at that point already one of the best boxers and wrestlers in the world. And the much younger Dutch Mantel, the one most fans know today, his real name is Wayne Cowan. I doubt many people know that, but his name is not Dutch Mantel, obviously. And so he got his Dutch Mantel name from my father back in the 1970s, because Wayne, the new Dutch Mantel, was wrestling for me in Knoxville. I just started, and him and a guy named John Foley were the first tag teams. One of the first tag teams that ever wrestled for me in Southeastern. Mm-hmm. And Dutch didn't like his real name, so he wanted he was being called Wayne Cowan, and so my dad was visiting me, and he asked my dad, I heard a little conversation they were having, he asked my dad, he said, do you have any idea what would be a good ring name for me? So my father, having been familiar with the original Dutch Mantel, he knew something about it. He'd seen a lot of pictures, and he'd obviously heard a lot of talk from Roy about him. He recognized the similarity between the new Dutch and the old Dutch, and that was the similarity was the facial hairs. Both of them had these big mustaches, right? And so my dad suggested that name for him. He said, well, you look like a guy that taught my father to wrestle and named Dutch Mantel. And so that's how he becomes Dutch.
All right, listen, I tell you, that's a great story in and of itself. So our Dutch Mantel is a wrestler named Wayne, and what did you say the last name was? Keon?
Wayne Cowan. It's spelled like Keown. Wayne, straight spelling too.
All right, Wayne Cowan. So back to the Houston, Texas, to Houston for the shoot match in the 1920s. What did your grandfather Roy have to do with this shoot match in Houston?
Well, this was a very dangerous job that Dutch had taken, so he could be hurt badly, obviously by the other shooter who's going to be no telling who, and or he could be attacked from behind by somebody, or several people, because the other shooter, he had a group of. It turned out that he had a group of guys that was watching his back. So Dutch had trained Roy to wrestle, and and he knew that he could trust him to watch his back, and this was going to be a hugely important upcoming match in Houston, Texas. I mean, wow, they're wrestling for the control of the business, right? So Dutch was totally confident in Roy's ability to do just that, to watch his back by himself. So he didn't take anybody with him from, they traveled down from up in the old country where the Funks are from, man, and, down to Houston, Texas. So, and he just goes with, Roy goes with him there. So when they go to the ring in Houston, Dutch had Roy walking behind him, obviously to watch his back. Right, can't see behind him. He was going to be excellent at taking care of whatever problems he had in front of him, but he had to have somebody watch behind.
Right.
Well, then when he got in the ring, he told Roy. Roy got in the ring with him, and the other guy had 4 or 5 guys in the ring with him. And this is a shoot, so anything can happen here. So Roy told. Dutch told my granddad, he said, get out of the ring. He says, stand right there by the post in my corner and just stay right there. So Roy, so when the match, the bell rang and the match started, Roy told me this story. And he said that Dutch's opponent was a whole lot bigger than Dutch was, right? He was a big guy. And Dutch was kind of short and small and didn't look very strong. He didn't look like a shooter. So when the bell rang, they locked up, and Dutch, being smaller, this guy pushed him back into the ropes, and the referee got him to make a clean break. So they locked up again, and again the big guy, he shoved Dutch back into the ropes. And this time it appeared that Dutch's opponent was going to back off again. But then he suddenly took a swing at Dutch's head.
Wow.
So Dutch ducked it. And Dutch, he was expecting everything, man, and he was really, really a tremendous wrestler, and nobody knew he was a boxer too. So Dutch ducked his punch, and he hit the guy with his crushing right hand, man, hit him right below his right eye, and Roy said, it was so hard that he could, that punch, he said, could have been heard all over the building. He said it, and it was so hard that it broke the bone underneath the guy's eye, and his eyeball dropped out of his head, and it dangled down there around his chin when your eye is connected to a bunch of cords, right?
No way.
Yeah, the eyeballs, thank goodness it's connected to the cords, or it would have just fell down on the mat. But
yeah.
Wow.
God.
So the wrestler's equilibrium was instantly destroyed, man, because there he was. He had his good eye was still looking right at Dutch, and the other eye, he was looking at the mat. Right? So Roy tells the story to me, man. He says, the guy fell on his knees and he started vomiting. He got sick instantly, right?
I reckon. Oh, my God.
And so the match was stopped. That was it. I mean, it lasted less than 2 minutes, right? So the other wrestlers group, which, like I said, there was 3 or 4 of them, that had brought him to the ring. They jumped in the ring and they put the towel over his eye, the one that fell out of his face, right? And so they got him back to the dressing room as fast as they could, and Dutch got his hand raised in victory, right? I mean, he hadn't done anything but thrown one punch, and that was all it took. So Dutch got out of the ring. Roy was standing there, and Roy got behind him, followed him to the dressing room. He didn't know whether he might still have a problem or whatever. But he said, he told me, he said, then Dutch said, no, he says, I want to go to the other guy's dressing room. And Roy's like, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm going to go to the other guy's dressing room, right? So he followed him. Roy followed him. And so when they went into the other guy's dressing room, they had the wrestler sitting in a chair, and they had a towel over his right eye. And they were about to take him to the hospital. And so Dutch just walked straight up to where the guy was, and the guy kind of had his head down, and when he looked up, he saw Dutch there, right? And he's like, oh, he started jumping back like, oh my God. Right. So now Dutch is from Holland, right?
Right.
I mean, he's got a very strong accent, right? So Roy said that Dutch bent over close to the guy's head. And
Right.
he said to him, kind of low, where not even everybody in the room could hear it, But he wanted to say something. The Roy said had no idea what he was going to say, what he was going to do, right? And he said he leaned over there, and he said Roy leaned in to where he could hear what he said, and Dutch says it's a good thing you quit. Because I was already looking at that other eye.
Oh, my God. All right. I think that's the line I remember. It's hard to imagine men like the original Dutch Mantel and their mindset. I hate to say it, but I love that story, as gross as some might think it is. And so many others have about your grandfather. All right, listen, we could talk about him all day. That would be so easy. But I guess we need to be getting to our Southeastern show for today. We may just have to pause for a moment before we move forward. That was so crazy. All right, so why don't you go ahead and set up the card for the first day of June. Take us back, not so far back, but take us back to 1981 for a change, Stud.
Okay, yeah, we'll jump about 60 years
let's
late, okay. So the card was a great one, man. This was the first night of the $100,000 International Sports Incorporated that had joined us as partners just a month or two earlier. They wanted to put $100,000 up in these matches, to have elimination matches in 7 cities in 7 days. So, wow, what it was a great deal. They came and they suggested, and they wanted to know if we would contribute. And I said, well, we're going to have the wrestlers. We're going to contribute to wrestlers, right? So they just said, okay, well, we're going to do this, right? So and so every match, turned out was all going to have the same thing in the 4 major markets. Every match, the card would be the same in all those major markets, the same as we normally did. And so let's talk about who was going to be in these $100,000 elimination matches. And in the first match, the opening match, was going to be Ricky Fields, who was a son of Lee Fields, one of the Welch family members. And he was going to be against Columbus, Georgia's Ted Oates. Then the man who was in this Studcast title, this one, I guess fans will see this when they get looking at it. The title for this one is Ray Candyman Candy, right? So Ray is just coming into the territory, and he's going to be in the second match of the night. He's 6'4" tall, and he weighs 320 pounds. Right?
Oh,
he's a hoss, man.
And,
so he was making his Southeastern debut against a mass wrestler called El Diablo. Then in the new United States junior heavyweight champion, Mr. Olympia, had just beaten Stan Lane for the belt the week before. But after the match, Lane complained like crazy, and they actually went and weighed Mr. Olympia, and he was 3 pounds over 225. So Mr. Olympia is going to have to give the belt back to Lane. So it didn't mean that things were over just yet between him and Lane. And so the third match was going on the card was going to be an actual head-to-head match, but not for the title, between Mr. Olympia and Stan Lane. The new Alabama champion, Ken Lucas, was going to be facing Jimmy Golden in a championship match. Ken had held both belts for a couple of weeks there and had lost the one to the Southeastern champ. Lost one of those belts, the Southeastern belt at that point. Now he's going to be facing Jimmy for his Alabama championship. And the Southeastern tag team champions, Bob and Brad Armstrong, they were defending their belts in a no disqualification match against Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. And then in Jimmy Golden's $5,000 bounty match, the money that he was been promising people that he would pay to anybody that could put Robert Fuller in the hospital. Didn't have to be a wrestler. Could be some fan. Could be run over him with a car. I don't care how you do it, right? But and every week he's showing us $5,000 in cash on the every one of his interviews, and so he says he wants to put Ron Bass and Masa Saito as a team, and he wants to put them against me and Rob, and he's going to manage them. He's going to be there to manage him in that match. And then the last match of the night was going to be a 15-man, all-against-all elimination match. Wrestlers kind of stood around the ring, anywhere you wanted to stand around the ring, but you had to hold the second rope. So either one of the two guys in the ring could tag you in at any time. And then when you got beat, you went back to the dressing room. And that match continued until the last man standing won 10,000 prize money. It was actually a little bit more than 10,000 because they were doing 100,000 in 7 nights, and also a beautiful trophy.
All right, let me get this straight. All right, so a 15-man all against all elimination match. All right, were the wrestlers, were their feet on the floor, were the feet on the apron of the ring, and they had to hold on to the second rope, right?
No, they were standing on the floor.
On the floor?
On the floor, and they just reached up and put a hand on the middle rope.
Right.
And they had to have your hand there. Because it was a crazy type of match. Because when you think about it, let's say that we got Bass and and Saito against me and Rob, and we're out there on the floor. Well, if Rob was in the ring, and with let's say Bass, he reached over there and tagged Saito in. Potential now partner. Saito's got to go in and wrestle Bass.
Right. I gotcha. All right.
Yeah, or vice versa. It could be Bass and it with Rob, and he reaches over and tags me.
Right.
So it's brother against brother.
Yeah.
So, it makes for a great match. It was really a spectacular match, these elimination matches. Fans loved them.
Yeah, I bet I've seen one, but if I have, I think I've just forgotten about it. But you were right, though. This is a really great card. 7 matches in all, 3 championship matches, a $5,000 bounty match, and $10,000 from International Sports Incorporated going to the winner of this 15-man all-against-all elimination match. Okay, so with all of that, this had to be a great TV show. So how did the TV show open up on this particular day?
Well, bear in mind, Dave, these TV shows, they were recorded 44 years ago, and they didn't, there weren't all complete shows. We were lucky to find what we've been able to find. And this particular show that we're going to be doing today, that has this elimination match in it, it was not a complete show. So this week's TV show was an example of that, and sadly, it wasn't all there. So luckily, the last ones that we've been showing lately have been almost complete shows, especially the last two shows. So this one, with the opening of Charlie Platt, as he opened the shows every week, was missing. It wasn't even there. So this show is going to open up with the introduction of the first TV match.
All right, interesting. And by the way, a footnote, I had an opportunity to have lunch Saturday with Jerry Stubbs, and he was proud that his name was in the title of last week's Studcast. And now, so now you're telling me that Charlie Platt is missing on the TV show, and nobody's complaining about that. So anyway, no, we had a lot of fun. Just it was the three of us.
He knows about it. So that was good. Yeah,
and you were the topic of conversation a good bit during that lunch. Yeah, Stud, we've really been lucky lately with how much original content that we've gotten. So our producer, Brian, is going to help us get this thing going. Okay, so there's still 8 videos with more than half of the original show, and that's a good thing that is preserved. All right, so Brian is going to roll it, and here we go.
Of course, Lane we're referring to as the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. The title was won by Mr. Olympia, and he's coming out to join us right now. Mr. Olympia, welcome back to the desk of Southeastern Wrestling, and I know you will have some comments on this match in the ring right now.
Well, that's right. I've been watching Stan Lane a long time, and he is a good wrestler. He sticks to the basics, but he also takes shortcuts, Charlie.
A lot of shortcuts. Good arm drag takedown by Roy Welch.
You can't take anything away from this Roy Lee Welch either. He's in competition for this junior heavyweight title here too, and he keeps himself in pretty good shape.
Good takedown by Lane. Roy Welch comes out of it, back into that arm drag takedown, and bars the arm.
I'd like to say something right here, Charlie. That we got a man, a big black superstar coming into this area. His name is Ray Candyman King. And, I was in Japan with this man. I wrestled with him on several occasions, and this man was undefeated on the tour in Japan when I was there. So he is he weighs 300 pounds. He's 6'4", and he's a big, strong superstar. I like the word superstar because I believe that's exactly what he is, Charlie.
Ray Candy, of course, throughout his career has held most major regional titles in wrestling areas all over the country, and of course known most in this area probably for the Georgia Heavyweight Championship he once held. He held that for a long time.
Well, he was also the North American Heavyweight Champion too, Charlie.
In the ring now, 2 junior heavyweights, Stan Lane, Roy Welch. And that junior heavyweight title, I'm sure that whole issue has been much on your mind.
Well, that's right, Charlie. As of today, not tonight, but as of today, I'm the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion. But, Stan Lane, he's held the title. I've held the title. I held it longer than anyone that's had it. And, it's been a great opportunity for me to defend it against some great junior heavyweights. Stan Lane is one of the great. Tony Charles is one of the great. Les Thornton's good. I mean, you got all kinds. You can't take anybody out because anyone can upset you. And one little wrong move and you done lost it. It's all over. Somebody else will be the champion and you'll be trying to get it back. Stan Lane, one thing I've learned about Stan Lane, he's learned to use the ropes. Any time that he can use it to his advantage or to keep somebody from getting the best of him, he'll go to those ropes. He'll use those ropes. And, you can't take that away from the man. That's part of the wrestling business. I mean, you've got to know where you're at in the ring. If you know where you're at, then you can use those ropes to your advantage.
The better you know that squared circle, the better off you are. Lane, to me, Mr. Olympia has a lot of talent. He's an excellent wrestler in watching him, but it goes back to what you stated a few moments ago. When the going gets tough, Stan Lane quickly goes for those shortcuts.
That's true. That's true. But you can't take, like I said, you can't take anything away from the man. He does stick with the basics. He does know how to wrestle, and he's been hanging around with this Mr. Saito a lot. So I believe he's been learning a lot of that, the moves, the Oriental moves that they use in Japan. So I feel that Stan Lane is getting this man to teach him a lot of that Oriental moves. That's gonna make him tougher. That's gonna make him tougher to beat, Charlie.
Lane with a snap and a takedown, dropping that leg in. Talking about Ray Candy, you're talking about a super heavyweight superstar and a super heavyweight Ray Candy.
That's right. Ray Candy, like I said, he's over 300 pounds. He's 6'4". And look, the man, you can't do him wrong, because the minute you do, he's tough, and somebody's going to get hurt, and I can grant you it probably won't be Ray Candy, because he can take care of himself.
Well tried now. Good block on that turnbuckle, and he takes that opportunity to go to work on Stan Lane, putting that elbow in. Lane with a headbutt to the midsection. Lane very quick in that ring. Good move by Stan Lane, crashing down with the elbow. Rolls his man up, by tight, but it's over.
Well, see, here's what I mean by taking a little shortcut there. Stan Lane did have his man. He held the ropes. Roy Lee Welch did fall back on his back. Stan Lane hit him with an elbow, and when he did, he hooked him with his tights. He gave him that little bit of edge what he needed, Charlie.
While you're out, we do have some videotape of the match in which you won that U.S. Junior title from Stan Lane. If we could roll the tape upstairs and take a look. In the arena, Stan Lane in action against Mr. Olympia, defending that U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Well, right here, Charlie, you see that, Stan Lane's been complaining that, that I'm Jerry Stubbs, not Mr. Olympia. I'm Jerry Stubbs.
You do have some similarities that remind one of Jerry Stubbs.
My name is Mr. Olympia.
Right.
Stan Lane cannot stand that. It's got some kind of psychological effect on Stan Lane. He wants to see my face. Under that mask, you can't tell whether I'm hurt or not. You got to see my face, see the expressions on my face to be able to tell whether I'm hurt, to see if I'm in pain. But see, he can't do that, so he don't know whether he's got me down or not, and he don't like that. So I believe it's got some kind of psychological effect on Stan Lane.
Right now, you have Lane back over in that corner.
I don't like to take anything away from my opponent. Stan Lane is tough. He was a champion. I'm the champion now. And I hold this belt, and I just don't believe that Stan Lane could take it away from me in the ring.
You hold the belt now, but there is that technicality that has come up, and you know that you're going to have to give that belt up.
Well, that's true, Charlie. I hate to say, as much as I sit here and hate to say that I won this belt, I went through a lot to go and win this belt. I had to put this mask on, get a no disqualification with Stan Lane to keep him from getting disqualified, and then I won this belt. I was a United States Junior Heavyweight Champion. But see, Stan Lane complained about me being overweight, which they did weigh me. I was just a few pounds overweight. And I did. I got to give up this belt because I am overweight.
There it was, the 3 count and the U.S. Junior title around the waist of Mr. Olympia. At the weigh-in later, International Sports Incorporated went over the contract rules, and you were 3 pounds overweight during this match. That's right, Charlie.
All the people out here know that I did beat Stan Lane. Well, he's complaining. He's complaining about me being overweight. Well, I had to weigh. I was overweight just a little. And I got to give this belt up. And as much as I hate to say, I got to give it back to Stan Lane. But let me tell you one thing. All around the Southeast, I have matches signed with Stan Lane. And it won't be championship matches. It won't be nothing. I won't be going after no title. There'll be one thing I'm going after, and that's a piece of Stan Lane's tail. and I guarantee you I'm the one that can get it. This belt, you know, I'm overweight. I can't go for it, but I can go for his tail. You can bet on that.
Comments of Mr. Olympia now surrendering the United States Junior Heavyweight title. It goes back to Stan Lane.
Man, that was great. Mostly wrestling matches. Really great wrestling matches. Stan Lane and Roy Lee Welch knew what they were doing in the ring, no doubt about it. Mr. Olympia's comments added a lot, and he certainly put over Ray the Candyman Candy, who will be in the next Studcast TV show. All right, so was there an interview after this match, Stud?
Yes, it was Mr. Olympia and Stan Lane about their upcoming match, and they talked about the $10,000 elimination match, and they also talked about a little bit about Olympia being overweight and you know, wrestling each other again. But like the show's opening, you know, it didn't get into the show. Mm-hmm. So I remember kind of what this first one was all about, and so luckily they're going to have a chance later in the show to get to talk, and we'll be able to show that later on. So basically, we're going to go to the second match, which was the new Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Bob and Brad Armstrong. And again, I got to apologize here. You know, that match was not actually in the show either. You know, it was blanked out, and that happened on quite a few situations. But we haven't had to deal with it near as much of it as I was afraid we might have to. So I'm going to make up for that, though. In this case, you know, we're not going to show Bob and Brad's match on TV, but what we are going to show is they were going to be wrestling in this show. They were going to be wrestling Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose in a no disqualification match for the championship, and we're going to show that match a week earlier than we normally would. So
okay.
We're going to make up for it by showing an even better match.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, that's a great idea, Stud. All right, so fans are not going to get to see the Bob and Brad TV match, but instead they'll be able to see what happened in the arenas in that no disqualification tag team championship match this first week, the first week in June of 1981. All right, so Brian is going to play that very controversial match, and here it is.
Ron Bass, along with Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, the Southeastern Tag Team Champions. You gentlemen have regained the titles. The way that you gained the titles back is certainly questionable, and the question has to do with Ron Bass. Let's roll the videotape and see what the action looks like in the arena. Bob and Brad Armstrong defending the Southeastern Tag titles against Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey.
Mr. Bob, we want you to see how we kept our titles back again. We told you that the Armstrongs was just holding those titles for us because they got a little heavy. And now we have them back. We're going to carry them for a long, long time, Charlie Platt. And watch Bob Armstrong, the cheater. Rule breaker, calling us cheaters. If you see that plain as day, and there's no possible way you could have missed that, Charlie Platt, right in front of your eyes.
You know, Bob Armstrong is a wild man, Mr. Platt. Everybody knows that. Time after time, he threw us out of the ring, back into the ring, out of the ring, gouging us in the eyes with his fingers. This, everything. But baby, you know what Armstrong did, don't you? They jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire, baby, because we got our belts right back.
And once again,
Charlie Platt, I'm an unbiased bystander. I was watching this match all night long, and as Condrey and Rose said, Armstrong did nothing but break the rules all night long. He threw Dennis Condrey out of the ring, falling to the floor, and proceeded to use foreign objects, everything else on Dennis Condrey. But still yet, Condrey and Rose are still your champion. So, Bob Armstrong, anything you want to do got countered, and it went against you, my friend.
Right, we were ready for him. We're ready. You see this leg here? When we get a person down, we know when to keep him down. That is just good wrestling. And look at that. Superior. Did you see that?
Saw Bob Armstrong with the advantage.
Watch the fist, Charlie Platt. Look at this. Fist. This is a wrestling. We are wrestling champions. That's what we want to be, but they won't let us be wrestling champions. We try
every time we get in the ring with the Armstrongs or anyone to be wrestling champions. But they push us. They push over the top. See, right there's what I was talking about, Charlie Platt. He threw him over the top and proceeded to come down and punch him with foreign objects or whatever. Myself being a bystander, I wanted to break this up. Somebody can get hurt like that, Charlie Platt. And I was just there to see that it didn't happen.
We appreciate it, Ron Bass. We appreciate it.
Look at me, that turned on me. I haven't done nothing to nobody. And the man turns around and gets
Here
on me.
you're going into your tights, pulling out some object that appears to be a chain, wrapping it around your hand,
came down
and using that hard
see
punch.
that they didn't get hurt.
Right here's the bottom line, right here, Jack. 1, 2, 3. That's the bottom line.
With the outside interference of Ron Bass.
No, Charlie Platt.
You
I
never
defended
seen Ron Bass
myself.
step
is
into
all
the
I
ring
have
at
to
one
do, my
time.
friend.
He
came down to help us just congratulate us on our fantastic win and the Southeastern champions. One more time, which number's 4.
And if you'll notice real closely, Mr. Saito was nowhere around.
We stick strictly by the rules.
There you have your Southeastern Tag Team Champions, and as they say, for the 4th time, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey. More action upcoming on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Stay with us.
You know what? After all that the Armstrongs had been through to get their hands on those tag belts, Ron Bass takes it all away with one heart punch. That is incredible. All right, so what was coming up on the very popular personality profile?
Well, the focus was on the International Sports Incorporated, the $100,000 plus the trophy, and we had a trophy there. They had a trophy for each one of these nights, the same type of trophy, but gosh, the trophy's almost 5 feet tall. It's a monster trophy, you know. And so they were going to be, winner was going to be getting, at least 10,000. It turned out to be a little more than 10,000 most nights, and that trophy. And that was going to the winner of the 15-man all against all elimination matches during that first 7 days, basically, of June. Mm-hmm. These started to happen to be June the 1st on a Monday night in Birmingham and went all the way through that first week. My brother and I, along with several other wrestlers, were going to explain how these matches worked.
You know what? I love those matches. Anything could happen, and usually it did. All right, so can't wait to see who's on this and what they have to say. So here comes that personality profile right now.
Coming up in the very near future here in the Southeastern Wrestling area, International Sports Incorporated completes the pledge to make this the finest in wrestling entertainment and the finest in wrestling competition here in the Southeastern Wrestling area. In 1 week's time, International Sports Incorporated, through Southeastern Championship Wrestling, will be giving away some $100,000 in prize money. And also with the prize money will go these trophies. And if we could open up and get a shot of this trophy, these prize money and the trophy will be given away in elimination matches. With me now, the Fuller brothers, Ron and Robert. And when we're talking about elimination matches, Ron and Robert, we're talking about a situation where it's all against all. 2 men in the ring at the same time competing, and while those two are competing, the rest of the ring is surrounded by men who, when they are tagged, must go in the ring and compete.
That's right. It's a most unusual event, Charlie, and it's also a very grueling event. 15 men entered in a match means that it's actually 14 matches in one. Every man has to be defeated until one man remains undefeated, and he's the winner of the money and that beautiful trophy right there. And as you said before, there's a toss of the coin, and the 2 men that win the toss of the coin start the elimination match, and everyone else stands with their hands on the second rope, and while you're in the ring, you can tag anybody you want to. For instance, very unusual situations can arise in one of these type of matches. For instance, let's say I was in the ring with Jimmy Golden. I could tag Ron Bass, and that would put Bass in the ring against Jimmy Golden. And should Bass refuse to wrestle Jimmy Golden, then he's automatically eliminated. It could possibly happen with Robert and I, same situation, where we'd have to wrestle against one another.
That makes an interesting question. With $10,000 for one night, the winner of the tournament, if it did come down to a situation where Robert Fuller were in competition against Ron Fuller, would it be tough? What would be your thinking on this?
Well, it wouldn't be competition between me and Ron for money. if the people came to watch an elimination tag match and the rules were that if you tagged a man in, he had to wrestle whoever he was against, in my opinion, it'd be a very good contest.
There you have the comments of Ron.
It wouldn't be the first time, let's put it that way. We've wrestled each other a whole lot of times, Charlie.
$10,000 in one night, $100,000 in 1 week's time. International Sports Incorporated, and these elimination matches all against all. Let's hear the comments from other participants, Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden.
You know, Jimmy, $10,000 to the man that is the last one in the ring. That's going to take a little conditioning. I want you boys out there that's going to be involved in this match, I want you to think about it for a minute. You're going to have to go through 14 other guys. You're going to have to be in condition. You're going to have to deal out a little punishment, and you're going to have to take a little. Now, there'll be everybody standing around the ring, and you can tag anybody you want to. I'd like to see the Armstrongs, father and son, going at each other. I'd like to see brother against brother. But then there's another thing. People talk about maybe you and I, Jimmy. But you know, in baseball, there's such a thing as a sacrifice fly. We might make something like that to our advantage this time. We may just take somebody out with a little move like that. You never know. Ron Fuller, Robert Fuller, the Armstrongs, Ken Lucas. You better keep your eyes in the back of your head open, my friend.
Bass and Jimmy Golden, and it will be interesting after hearing your comments, their comments on what can happen in an elimination match. The main thing is going into this match, one of the major things would be conditioning in a match like this, Ron.
Well, that's right. This match is liable to last an hour. You know, it may last an hour and a half. I've been in them. This lasted 90 minutes before, and it's very grueling. It's a very tiring match on the participants. But when there's a $10,000 prize at stake and a beautiful trophy that you can carry home and keep, and I'm sure we all have trophy rooms, and I'd love to have something like that, a prize like that in my trophy room, and you can bet that everybody'll be going flat out for the money and the trophy.
There's men that will be coming into the southeastern wrestling area who will be in competition in these elimination matches that's going to make things quite interesting. A big man, Ray the Candyman Candy, will be here.
That's right, the Candyman. I don't know if people in this part of the country have seen him before, but he's 63 inches tall and he weighs about 280 pounds. And I think one of the main reasons he's here is because of these elimination matches. He's wanting to collect some of this money, and he's wanting to get this trophy. And he'd like to make a name for himself. And whoever wins these elimination matches are going to be instantly a success in this part of the country, and will be instantly a rich man, too.
Two other competitors will be Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey.
You know, cuz, let me make sure I understand these rules right now. There's going to be 14 men around the ring, right? Is that right? That's exactly right. Okay, the last man standing gets $10,000. Is that right?
That's right.
Well, you know, when you talk about elimination matches, when you talk about getting nasty, when you talk about getting down and dirty, you talk about big money, baby, you got to be talking about Condrey and Rose, because that's what we're here for.
We're looking at two of the nastiest.
Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey also in competition. $10,000 in one night, Robert.
Well, I tell you, you're talking to teams. This is not a team event. Let's remember that. Teams could be handicapped in this thing. It's going to wind up with one man that's going to be the winner of this money, and I hope it's Ryan or myself.
15 men, all against all. In an elimination match, when a man is tagged, he must go into the ring and compete, and the winner of this big elimination match will receive not only this trophy, but $10,000 in cash.
You know what? That had to be an exciting time to be a wrestler, especially when your business partners were tossing in money like that and everybody had an opportunity to win. All right, Stud, take us to the next segment.
Well, we still had a lot of TV show left in this one. The next was a live match. We're finally getting back to a live match with the big bad man from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. And Jimmy Golden was going to be joining Charlie Platt at the set for this one.
All right. So our producer Brian has got to set that up and what Ron Bass had in store for his opponent. And here it comes.
Okay. This event one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing at 220 pounds, the Avenger. His opponent at 290 pounds from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. Ron Bass taking on the Avenger on Southeastern Championship Wrestling, and coming out to join us now, Jimmy Golden, who is tag team partners with this big man from Pampa, Texas, for some time now.
You know something, Charlie Platt? I really enjoy being out here with you on a Saturday afternoon, watching my tag team partner, Ron Bass. Brother, he is some kind of machine. And like I said before, I can't say enough about this heart punch that he's got. The thing has been outlawed in other states. It's not legal in other parts of the country. They haven't said anything about it here, so as long as it's that way, it's a legal move, and he is allowed to use it. And
you just brought up a very interesting point. You said nothing has been said about it. Well, as of yet, not. But I have been informed that Southeastern Championship Wrestling and International Sports Incorporated is taking a close look and an investigation into this heart punch at this time.
Well, let them go ahead and do whatever they got to do. But as of right now, the punch is legal, and nobody can do nothing about it. You don't like it, Charlie Platt, because it hurts your little buddy friends, Robert and Ron Fuller, and anybody else that wants to step in the ring with Ron Bass.
I will admit it is a very effective move and quite a dangerous move. Right now, Bass tying up that left arm of the Avenger, crashing down.
That's it, Bass. Work on him, brother. Work that arm out. You tell me, you just look at that man there. That's about 270 to 80 pounds of pure wrestling machine, brother. And if he decides to, he can knock your head right off your shoulders. The man has got a punch, no doubt about it. Agreed, Charlie Platt?
Agreed.
All right.
Agree. Ron Bass said 290 pounds.
The only good thing I ever heard you say.
Is a great competitor in this area and all over the country. Still keying on that left arm of the Avenger. He has it barred.
Mean Machine, Ron Bass, Jimmy Golden, two best professional wrestlers in the world today.
The comments and the opinions of Jimmy Golden in the ring now. Ron Bass against the Avenger.
The tag team combination. They're supposed to be so good. Been together a long time. They ain't nothing.
Bass.
Competition.
Now using the flat of the boot, the legal move on the left arm of the Avenger.
You got him, Bass. You got it.
Possible submission.
Break it off. Spare no mercy.
And as of yet, the Avenger has not given up.
Well, I'd have to hand it to the Avenger. He's got a lot of guts to be able to stand in there with this type of man for this period of time. He's been working on that arm ever since they started. And the Avenger, he's staying in there, but I don't give him too much. I don't give him too much longer.
No submission so far. Bruce Fortson is asking him a couple of times. Bass really administering the punishment.
What do you call that right there? Legal punch, illegal punching to the midsection.
The Avenger frees himself.
That's it. Give it right back to him, Bass. Give it right back to him. You got it now. Oh, yeah.
Boot to the midsection by Ron Bass.
Don't be through the floor, Ron Bass.
Ron Bass unloading on the Avenger. Takes his man into the ropes. Pinches him with that elbow.
Heart punch, man. The heart punch. That's what he needs.
Ron Bass.
Here we go.
Pulling back that. There it is. Pulling back that arm, exposing the sternum area. Very dangerous and devastating move, and well executed by Ron Bass. Winner with the controversial heart punch from Pampa, Texas, 290 pounds, Ron Bass. And we'll be back with more action on Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
Wow, can you believe that? Boom, another heart punch, and another one bit the dust. So Bass was definitely on a roll. He was going to be the biggest man in the ring for the elimination matches until other wrestlers in this show started talking about Ray, the Candyman Candy, at 6'4" and weighing in at about 320 pounds. Ray Candy coming the next week. So was there anything after this match?
Yeah, Robert and I were going to get a chance to talk about Jimmy Golden's upcoming $10,000 bounty tag match against Ron Bass and Masa Saito, and hear what they and Golden had to say.
All right, so let's play that next interview with Golden and his bounty team. Here it is.
The main event will be a 15-man all-against-all elimination match with $10,000 and this trophy going to the winner. Also in action, the Southeastern Tag titles and a no disqualification clause will be defended by the Armstrongs. And a bounty match, the Fuller brothers, Ron and Robert, take on Ron Bass and Mr. Saito. That will be managed by Jimmy Golden. Let's hear their comments.
A whole lot of money is going to be passing hands in Birmingham, Alabama in a big elimination match. But most important of all to me is right here, $5,000. I want y'all to look at it real good now. Saito and Mr. Bass, to the man that will put Robert Fuller out of action. Get his ugly face away from here. I'm tired of looking at it. $5,000, boys. I want to see the team. I want to see Robert Fuller and Ron Fuller step in the ring here with these two gentlemen right here and see if they can get the job done.
Jimmy, I'll tell you right now, your money's just like putting it in the bank, because when me and Mr. Saito get in there against Ron Fuller and Robert Fuller, there's going to be a broken leg. I can tell the people, Robert Fuller, it's all over for you, my man.
Ripley.
And the bounty is on you, Robert.
Yeah, that Golden can really call himself tough now. He's going to sit in the corner like a manager, and he's going to let the Japanese and the Texan go out there and try to do his work for him. Why don't you try to do it yourself, Golden? Because you are not man enough to do it yourself, and your Japanese man is not man enough, and neither is your big fat Texan. And when we get there Monday night, I'm going to be proving it. I'm going to put my own bounty out, and it's going to be on you, boy. Not on the men that come to collect the money, but on you. And I'm going to have your tail before the night's over. Well, I just think very simply, they're talking about broken legs. We're the only ones that know how to break any legs. And come Monday night, you guys may be the ones hobbling to the hospital, boys.
Wow, hearing those guys, it may not have been a 15-man elimination match by the time that last match got started. All right, Stud, what was in the last segment on this TV show?
Well, Conrad and Rose went to the set with the new Southeastern heavyweight champion, Masa Saito, and they watched how he beat Ken Lucas for the belt.
All right, so let's get the action on that championship match from our producer, Brian. Here it is.
A lot of action has been taking place around the Southeastern wrestling area in the last few weeks. Ken Lucas is the first man to hold the Alabama title and the Southeastern title at one time. A recent match, Mr. Saito defeated Ken Lucas for the Southeastern title. Let's take a look at that videotape and the match against Saito against Ken Lucas and see how the action went.
Look at this man. Is there any doubt in your mind that he was going to be the Southeastern champion, Platt? Look at this man right here. He's beating Ken Lucas like the dog that he is, son.
In the arenas now, it's Saito against Ken Lucas. Going into the match, Ken Lucas, the Southeastern heavyweight title holder. And there we see the sleeper being applied by Mr. Saito.
Look at my sleeper hold, more strong. Look at my arms. Strong, big arms.
Check out Mr. Saito. He is in top shape. He runs every day. He does karate every day, and he works out every day. Look at the Pillsbury Doughboy, Ken Lucas. Now, tell me who is the toughest in your mind. I'm talking to you, Charlie. Answer me what I thought.
Well, the question is who's toughest in my mind. That would be hard to say. Two
in your mind's eye,
equally matched.
This man right here, the Japanese warrior and destroyer.
I would call them two equals.
There's nothing equal to him. There's nothing equal. Saito is superior.
At this point of the match, Ken Lucas has the advantage over Saito.
Everyone gets lucky sometimes, Charlie Platt. You know that.
Saito now choking Lucas. Lucas outside of the ring.
You're not choking, just a glove hole. Sleeper hole here.
That is a sleeper hole.
That's a claw. It's claw.
And the referee knocked down. There we see some substance being thrown, salt, by Mr. Saito. What was that?
No, he's not
threw in the
soft.
eyes.
No, he's not soft.
That was some dirt, but they forgot to sweep out of the ring when the referee fell down. The dirt flew up. That's all you see.
That's only a figment of your imagination, baby. That was a 1, 2, 3 count right there.
Now you see the winner.
The winner right here, Mr. Saito, son.
And a questionable,
here, loser. I'm winner. I'm a new champion now.
very questionable way, the winner of the match in the Southeastern Heavyweight title, Mr. Saito.
Oh, your pleasure.
A lot of action still coming today on Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
You know what? It looks very familiar to see how Saito beat Paul Orndorff weeks earlier. All right, Stud, what was next?
Well, the next was the last match in this show.
Okay. Brian is going to set that one up, and we'll see what happened in that match. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall television time remaining. Introducing at 230 pounds from Pascagoula, Mississippi, Tommy Yates. Tommy Yates. His opponent at 245 from Tokyo, the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Saito. Saito against Tommy Yates. Television time remaining. Saito with a commentary takedown on Tommy Yates. Joining me with the commentary, former Southeastern Heavyweight Champion and still holder of the Alabama title, Ken Lucas.
Well, I held 2 titles at one time, and you know it's hard to keep up with. You got guys like Saito, Rose, Condry, Golden Bass. They're all digging at you and everything, but I still am the Alabama State Champion. But right now, my main concern, Charlie, is watching this Mr. Saito. You know he's a very, very tough man, and the man knows he's wrestling. The gentleman he's in there with right now has got a headlock on Saito, but Saito is the type of guy that he just about knows what you're going to do. He can feel the body. He's very, very talented. And very, very, very strong man. I've heard the reports that he does bench presses of close to 450, 500 pounds. And you see right there, he took him down. He's right behind him. He's always stays in very, very good position.
His conditioning shows in the ring, Ken.
He's a very, very strong man. Besides being strong, he knows he's wrestling. He's a very, very smart man. And you don't make no mistakes. Today, it boils down in professional wrestling that the mistakes means a lot. And when you make one of those final mistakes, it can cost you a match.
Saito now moving around.
See, Saito with his wrestling, a guy like Yates there, I don't think he's got as much, I should say, amateur background as Saito. Saito will wear a guy down, rides, take down leg sweeps, keep moving on him, fireman's carry, and he'll tire him out. Then he's pretty well got him in his command. I met him head on. Saito likes to wrestle. I like to wrestle too, but my main concern is to get that belt back and to prove a point to him that I can put him asleep with my sleeper hold.
Saito, very quick man in the ring, going into grips again with a
See, he's got a bear hug. He's got a bear hug right there, and he's putting that pressure on him. That lower back, let me tell you right now, it hurts. Nice move, very, very nice move. Nice counter. He got him right there. Excuse me, with a hip toss. But you see Saito's looking at him, you can tell what he's thinking. He's thinking, my friend, I'm just going to wear you down. There you got, ooh, front face lock and a takeover right there, and that's a hard, hard hold. Yates is doing very, very well against this man, Saito. You can see right there, takedown again. He's trying to break him down to get him tired, Charlie, and that's just what he's doing.
With the right, it's Saito.
You know, a lot of people don't realize, excuse me, Charlie, when you got a man like Saito that can bench press 450, 500 pounds, he's got the wrestling background, the knowledge that he's got, and he gets on top of you like this, he's got that leg hook and that arm hook. Excuse me, it's hard to get a man that weighs 250 pounds off your back unless you got some real knowledge, and that's what he's doing. He's got this man tired right now. He's got his wind cut off, he's got him tired.
The left arm and the right leg were tied up all at once.
And see right here, he's got him through, and he's got this man, he's got him hooked real, real well in the legs, and he keeps putting that pressure on that lower back to tire him out. He's working him down.
Saito, of course, former Japanese Olympic wrestler, and as we've said many times, Ken, the different styles this man knows and how he can operate in that ring is almost unbelievable. He's a great athlete.
Stays in fantastic condition. He's slowly wearing Yates down. He's taking his time. Saito's not in a hurry. He knows what he's got to do. And he's very tough. Oh, good punch.
Arm twist dragging into that.
Oh, goodness. Boy, he caught him right there. Did you see that, Charlie? He caught him, boy. I mean, he caught him hard, too.
Saito
rattled the marbles in the head.
on top of things.
Double chop.
Double chop coming down and into the throat. Saito, a very dangerous man in the ring, Ken.
There's that trap there. I'll tell you, there it takes out of you. When you get hit on those trapezius muscles with a double chop like that, it takes a lot out of you, Charlie, because those trapezius muscles control the whole lower back and your nerve centers.
Saito stalking his man, takes him up by the hair in the turnbuckle.
Oh, man, boy, I'll tell you what, that'll take it out of you. Them chops, boy, he's caving that chest right in, boy. He's putting permanent hurt on that man right there, and there's that double chop on those trapezius muscles again. Again, he's wearing him down, Charlie.
Saito continues the punishment. Saito picks his man up. And another hard chop into the throat area.
I think he's going into it. There he is. He's got it. He's got it right there. He's got the sleeper. Hold on.
There's the sleeper.
He's got it on him right there.
A variation from the one that Ken Lucas uses.
Yes, he's going right on the side of the neck. Mine's right around the front. And I still block off the same nerve area, but it's just applied just a little bit different. He's got him down now, and I'm afraid it's going to be lights out. He won't get away from that. 2, 3. It's over.
Yes, it is. It's over, and your winner of the match from Tokyo, the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Saito, finally relinquishing the sleeper. And now the very important part of waking the man back up.
I can't believe this. You mean to tell me this man ain't going to wake him up again? He's going to have somebody really get hurt. I can't believe it.
Ken Lucas upset, and rightfully so. Sleeper, a very dangerous hole. And the man has to be brought back around very shortly. There it is. And now Saito jumps on Lucas. There! Ken Lucas puts his patented sleeper on Saito. Rose and Condrey coming out, pulling Saito out.
You know, to me, it was a good thing that Ken Lucas had joined Charlie at the set. This had been another really good TV show, Stud.
Well, actually, Dave, this one isn't over yet. There was a last match, but there's one last interview. So I think then we can give the fans a chance to see that.
All right, appreciate the heads up on that. Let's go to that, and Brian will set the last video up in this TV show. Here it is.
The 15-man all-against-all elimination match with a trophy and $10,000 going to the winner. $10,000 and this very prestigious trophy. With me now, Ken Lucas and Mr. Olympia. Before we get the comments, their comments, let's get the comments of Stan Lane and Mr. Saito.
You know, when's it all going to end, Jerry Stubbs? For months and months now you've tried, and every night you've failed. You try to come out looking as ugly as you can with your face. Now you got a hood on and trying to do it that way, and you still can't do it. I understand your girlfriend won't even go out with you in public unless you got a sack on your face now. You're overweight. You're fat, you're out of shape, you couldn't do it before, you won't do it on June the 1st. Why don't you just forget it?
Ken Lucas, you sneak around, you put sleeper hold on me, but you can't. You know that my big neck, 22 inches. Elimination match, Ken Lucas. I put you sleeper hold on you. You sleep forever.
The comments of Mr. Saito. Ken, you will be in competition with him in that elimination match. Plus, earlier you've got the Southeastern or the Alabama title you'll be defending against Jimmy Golden.
Well, you know, Jimmy's a very, very tough man, and I've got a lot of respect for him. You know, he's the type of guy that he just keeps coming, hitting, kicking, and I've got this Alabama belt, and I plan on keeping it. As far as Mr. Saito's concerned, I'd like to say one thing. I have a sleeper hold, too, and there'll be no back jumping. I'm going to say one thing for sure, Mr. Saito. If I put it around your 22-inch neck, I guarantee you're going to fall right on the ground just like the rest of them do.
On June 1st, Mr. Olympia, a big elimination match, $10,000 to the winner.
That's right, $10,000. You know, a lot of people can use $10,000, and I'm one of them. And I'm going to do my best, and Stan Lane or anybody else, when I get in there, it's going to be 100% because I like money just like you do, just like Charlie does, just like anybody does. So I'm going 100%.
Monday night, June 1st, in Boutwell Auditorium at 8 o'clock.
All right, obviously, Stud, this was a big week ahead for everyone associated with Southeastern Wrestling. All right, so take us to the arenas and set up what happened in the next week for us.
Okay. Ricky Fields beat Ted Oates. Ray Candy won his first Southeastern match against the Masked El Lobo. El Diablo, I say. Yeah, El Lobo or Diablo doesn't make any difference. He's in there with a 320-pound dude.
Yeah.
It ain't going to make any difference. In fact, Ray Candy jumped on top of him off the top rope, so he got squashed.
Wow.
So the non-title match between Mr. Olympia, who had to give the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship belt to Stan Lane, give it back to him because Olympia was overweight, was a good thing basically for Lane, because if it had been a championship match, Mr. Olympia would have won it again, because Mr. Olympia ended up beating Lane. Then the new Alabama champion, Ken Lucas, who had beaten Saito, lost his belt pretty quickly to Jimmy Golden. Then the no disqualification Southeastern Tag Championship match between the champions, Bob and Brad Armstrong, Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, ended up with the belts going back to Condrey and Rose. And a lot of that had to do, and fans got a chance to see that match earlier in this show, as a matter of fact. Ron Bass, what he did, and how Condrey and Rose won the belts back. And then in the wildest match of the night, with me and Rob against Masa Saito and Ron Bass, Jimmy Golden finally happily paid Saito his $5,000 bounty money. And after a match, this match involved just about every one of the wrestlers on the card in the territory. I mean, it started out with one guy came down, and two more came down, and two came from the other dressing room, and then it was just Saito was about to kill my brother. What the deal was. He had him in a sleeper for probably 5 minutes before anybody could get there to him to break it up. So then you've got the $10,000 15-man elimination match. In this case, it was 14 men because Rob wasn't able to wrestle after this first Birmingham night. And so all of these matches are going to be 14 men, but the money went to, guess who, man? Ray the Candyman.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, Ray came in and he was a ball of fire, and what a monster he was. My goodness. So he's going to become a star. In fact, that's why I named this particular episode Ray the Candyman, Candy's Arrived.
All right, so listen, it didn't matter to the fans in these arenas because 14 men was as good as 15. And the other wrestlers, they didn't care that Robert wasn't in there. That was one less joker to deal with, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nobody was upset,
right,
except for me.
Right.
And they heard my brother and, and Bob and a lot of others, too. I mean, the way that match went down was really, really nasty. They took a whole dressing room of heels talking about, we're going to help you. We'll keep them out. We'll keep them away. You do your deal. Right? Pretty dirty, man.
Wow. All right. So how about the attendances for the 7 nights with $100,000 at stake? You had to do well on this.
Well, fans really enjoyed these elimination matches, and wow, did they show it at the box office. I mean, you would have thought this was 10 world championships or something. I mean, Birmingham had 6,200 people. Mobile had its normal sellout, turned people away. Birmingham was just about totally sold out as well. Montgomery had more than 5,000 at 5,100. Panama City had 4,100 people in that little building that we had there. I don't know how we got them all in there. Dothan had 5,300. Troy, we ran Troy, Alabama, on a Saturday night, and it had 3,600 people.
Wow,
in Troy. So and all these Panama City, Troy, and Pensacola, they got these elimination tag matches too. So this was 7 nights of these elimination matches. Pensacola sold out 6,000 people. We had 36,300 people in 7 nights.
36,000 3,000, and some of that's more population than some of these towns at that time. That is especially Troy. All right, an amazing number. And Stud, I don't see how you're going to top this, but where are we going to be riding next week?
Well, almost the entire card's going to change again next week. This one was a lot different than it had been, but wow, after what had happened, or the way Rob got hurt, then the championships had changed hands, so there were 2 title changes on this and during this course of this week. So the major markets were getting the first ever championship night, which is going to be a big thing for Southeastern as the years go by in that territory down there. And then it had 4, each of these cards had 4 championship matches next week. You're going to have Bob Armstrong against Big Ron Bass after Bass hitting him with that heart punch and causing him to lose the championship. Bob is fit to be tied, man. And in fact, he's demanding that he gets to wrestle Bass the next week in the first match. He said, I'm not going to wait to the second match or no other match. The first thing I do is kick Bass's butt, So, then there's on this card next week. Besides all that, we got lady midgets, man.
Wow. I mean, the great cards just keep on coming. All right, Stud, any final comments as we wrap up today?
Well, thanks as always to our Southeastern, our Tennessee Stud Streaming.com fans out there for their support. And tell your friends and neighbors about us. Take care of yourselves and others. And may God bless us all.
For Ron Fuller in the Great Smoky Mountains, I'm David Summers saying thank you for listening. Find me at davidsummersproductions@gmail.com. This Studcast is a David Summers production for Tennessee Stud LLC.
Thanks for joining us today for this historic Studcast. The true story continues next week. So full Nelson your friends and point them in our direction for another ride with the Tennessee Stud.
1, 2, 3.
This is David Summers saying so long from the Great Smoky Mountains.